All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another video after coming off of that huge mid-season finale for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one, we'll go through some of your guys' Q&A questions, but first we'll start with why? Just why? And major spoiler warning, if you guys are not cut out for The Walking Dead, do expect for you to be up to The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 8, the mid-season finale, going into the second half of The Walking Dead Season 8. Currently, break for a couple months. So we get a couple months off, and then we'll be right back at it with the second half. So this is a really crazy one. I'm still kind of just absorbing all the different changes that are going to happen with The Walking Dead series because of what happened in that mid-season finale. It's quite the shake-up in terms of like what's going to happen going forward. If you guys didn't see, I did some really important videos for you last night after the episode airs. But in particular, the one I want to point out mostly to you is the explained video where we go through an interview with Chandler. I'll have it in the end credits for you guys here at the end of this video, so you can click that to watch that one, and you can kind of get to hear in his words an interview with him in the Hollywood Reporter. I went through it. It's in text, but I went through it with you guys every question and answer. So very important video. Definitely check that one out if you want to know the behind the scenes of what happened here. Did Chandler Riggs want out of the show? Was it kind of in the writing? What happened here? So watch that video if you haven't seen it, as well as I did my reaction to the big mid-season finale, review, over 20-minute long review, predictions for what I think is going to happen in the next half. So lots of stuff for you guys to watch if you haven't seen it all yet. I'd recommend you go through it when you have time. So for this video, I want to do this one with you guys as the first kind of Q&A, and it's just because a lot of the questions I'm kind of seeing are just like, why? Just why? Why did they kill Carl off? It's just such a huge kind of departure from the comic book series version that we're seeing right now in the TV series. It was one that it was kind of spoiled early, at the beginning of this season, which is, well, that's very early to be honest. But it's so crazy that they actually did it. When I first heard about this, you guys got to understand, when I first heard the spoiler, I threw it out right away. Actually, I think Jess read it to me because I was eating food in the kitchen, and she had read it to me from someone who sent me a message on, I think it was like Twitter or Facebook, whatever, and she read it to me. I was like, what? They're not going to kill Carl. I thought it was a joke because I hear all kinds of crazy stuff all the time. I remember season 7 premiere, a lot of people really thought Carl would be killed off by Negan. Man, whether that went crazy, right? They'd have done Carl instead of Glenn or something. But yeah, so I threw it out. I was like, there's no way they're going to kill Carl off. They're not going to do it because it's too far out from the comic book version where Carl is actually still alive. For them to go through it. It's just crazy. So Justin Patton said that it was Gimple's decision, not Chandler's. There's an interview with Chandler, and he stated that I have no clue, to be honest. When Scott told me, that was his decision. So beyond pissed at Gimple right now, Justin said. And again, all the details in particular are in the explained video that's in the channel right now. You guys got to check it out after this one. So for Justin right there, I understand totally, seeing a lot of comments from people who are really upset that they killed Carl off. Now, there was a lot of people who hated Carl. A lot of people did not like Chandler Riggs acting for Carl. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm not sure if because of the way his kind of comic booky costume is in real life, it just doesn't translate well for people when they see him kind of wearing the hat with the eye patch. It just looks silly or something. It doesn't work the same way. He's way older in the TV series than he was in the comics. So in the comics, he's still like this little kid. He's aged a little bit, but he's still like this little kid / really young teenager. Whereas in real life, Chandler Riggs he's getting ready to go to college and stuff like this. He's finished high school, so he's pretty much an adult right now, young adult. He's of age, right? So, be able to start drinking pretty soon, all this kind of stuff, driving and everything. So it's quite a bit different in terms of, and even in terms of look, there's a picture where you see him with Andrew Lincoln side by side walking. And I actually looked at it yesterday in the video I did there. It's in the episode 8. He's almost as tall as Andrew Lincoln. He's pretty close. You look at them beside each other and they're almost the same height. Andrew Lincoln's probably just a little bit taller than him. The hat adds to it, right? But, it's crazy. crazy, man, that they did this. And I'm still thinking to myself too, like, why? If it was not, and it sounds like, okay, so this is the takeaway from the explain video, is that it apparently was not Chandler Riggs' decision, which I thought it was. Like, I thought he was going to college, he wanted out of the show, so they killed him off. I thought in no way would they actually kill Carl off early in terms of the story. Like, I did not think in terms of the story you would want to do that. In that interview, it pretty much led us to believe that the reason why he was killed off in terms of the writing is so that it can kind of change Rick, and it can convince Rick, to follow his kind of way, similar to what happened with Dale in season 2, the season 2 finale. Remember when there was Randall, there was Dale. Dale was adamant that they shouldn't kill Randall. Dale died. Rick decided, okay, we'll let Randall live. We'll give him a chance, whatever, because that's kind of what Dale wanted to do, and that effect he had on him, moral compass, so to speak. So if Chandler or Carl is that for Rick now, with his death, kind of changing Rick to decide not to, kill someone, who, then. I guess, I guess it could work for that. But the thing is that you're killing off someone who's so critical to the future of the story. And we're expecting to see that. But then again, if it's a few more years from now, by the time they get to some of these comic book moments, like the Whisperer stuff could be like season 10 or something. If it's at that point, he's going to be 20. So that's the thing too, right? Is that maybe Scott thought about it, and he's like, by the time we get to here, he's going to be in his 20s, and it doesn't work. You can't do the same thing for the comic book series version where you have this kid that is very, has quite a few demons, is really messed up, and he's delivering these, crazy kind of lines, or having these crazy scenes where he's arguing with Rick, or he's kind of, going nutty and killing people and doing stuff like this. You can't really do it the same way with a 20-something-year-old, like a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, as you can with a 12-year-old or a 13 or maybe a 14-year-old. So, I think we all kind of assumed that they would keep, Carl around, that they would keep Chandler around because it would just be so huge not to do it. But, yeah, that's. I guess that's what they decided to do. So it's really crazy, man. Jay Morris said it has to be the actor. If AMC truly decided to kill Carl off at this point for shock value or ratings or whatever, then that would be the biggest misstep the show has ever made. The past 8 seasons have been about Rick trying to build a world for his kids. Sure, there have been characters in between, but the main story is Rick and his family. Do you think that either way, either Chandler wanting off or AMC doing it, it is going to adversely affect everything in the show and everyone in the group? And do you think it will put a spice in the ratings, only to dwindle because people will boycott the show because of his death? Would love to hear your thoughts. I personally feel like it was a really bad idea and might cause a spark for a bit, but will in the end harm the show. So it's it's a crazy thing, man. We're gonna have to see how this plays out. I can speculate on this one. I can give my thoughts on this one. You guys can too in the comments below, and I'd love to see them. That's what we're doing right here. We're going over some of your guys' comments from yesterday and giving our thoughts on them. So keep writing them, guys. Let me know. Let it all out. Let me know what you guys are thinking, how you're feeling about this one, because it's so crazy for them to do this in the show. It's just such a risky move that I'm almost like, I'm a little bit scared about it. I'm like, okay, so what are you going to do now? So you kill him, and then what? And for what? Is it really worth it to kill Carl off in order to be able to change Rick a little bit more? Because remember, you are not safe, but it was always, like Jay Morris is saying here, it was always about, like, the core of the show was, if you guys remember Tell It to the Frogs, the first season, Rick finds Laurie and Carl. Carl runs up and hugs him and everything, and Laurie is excited he's back. But it's mainly like the Carl-Rick thing, being reunited. Season 2, he gets shot, and then he gets shot again with the eye thing later on. He's had some trouble, man. He's got stuff with his mom and stuff, and Negan's relationship with him. So it's really crazy, man. I am just really at a loss, and I think it's nuts. I mean, if you had the mid-season finale without that big death in it, I do have to admit it's probably not as big of a mid-season finale as it is because you put that in there. But I can't help but think, okay, you're 8 years into the show. You want people to keep watching. the ratings are going down like crazy, but he wouldn't really have known that. He would have saw that in season 7. They would have saw that in season 7. They wouldn't really have saw that continue in season 8. But maybe he just decided, like, let's do something really risky. He's too old for it to work in the TV series. It's really not working anymore, so let's do that. And then we'll have Henry take the part from the kid from the Kingdom of New character. We'll have him be really screwed up because his brother's dead and he grows up in the war, and so he takes on Carl's part. And he's still a kid and it still works, and you give him a new kind of timeline. You kind of restart that in terms of age. You get his age somewhat similar. He's not Rick's son, but at the same time you have maybe Carol take him under her wing or something. You have him be kind of like a son of the group or something. Some of this, I think that's probably what he's planning, but it's really crazy because we heard rumblings that Chandler Riggs was going to college and this kind of stuff. So and maybe some interviews and some news about this kind of thing. So I don't know if maybe his schedule was too hard to work out. Maybe it was too hard for them to kind of work out doing both or something. So they decided, like, let's kill him off and let him go. Then he can go off and do whatever he wants. Or I just don't know, man. It's really crazy to me. It's just maybe the most amount of details have already been released that we're going to see. But of course, if there's any more details in the future that I see with you guys, I'm sure there'll probably be more interviews in the future and stuff. Maybe Scott Gimple will weigh in on this one a bit more. I haven't seen Talking Dead yet, but I'll go through that. We'll do lots of videos in the future, give our thoughts on this one. But will the ratings peak because of this? I would think so. I would think when it comes back, the ratings are going to be higher than what they were at. I would think it would get people in there. But for the future of the show, the thing is that you don't have that many season 1 characters left. You kill off Glenn last year, you kill off Carl now, you've got Rick, Michonne, and even Michonne's not a season 1 character. You've got Carol, you've got Daryl. I mean, you just don't have, I'm probably leaving some out, but you just don't have that many left. So it's really nuts, man, and wow, it's crazy. Andre E says they effed up one of the best characters of all time. Well, the comic series version is one of my all-time favorite Walking Dead characters. The TV series version of Carl never ended up being that great. Maybe I probably should do a character spotlight in the TV series version. He's a lot different from the comic version. He doesn't feel the same as the comic version. He doesn't act that similar to the comic version. He's had moments where maybe it feels like he's the same character, but then not really. It's kind of like Tyrese from the TV series versus Tyrese from the comics. They're not the same, the actor, the way that they kind of, they take on the role, the way they kind of change the character into the way they want it to be. Sometimes that can be to be more of like a humanitarian type of deal, kind of softer is, it's kind of crazy, but I can't help but think, if Chandler Riggs had interpreted Carl a bit differently and done things different, could it have been different? Could he, his fate have been different? I don't know, man. That's really, really crazy. So next one is Q&A. How many episodes will Carl live? Just the premiere or maybe another episode or two? How long can they draw it out for? Not long. According to Chandler Riggs, it's probably one more episode in the back half and then maybe some hallucination sequences, dream sequences, stuff like that. That's probably about all we're going to see from him. But his time is pretty much over. Considering it's been over 100 episodes, maybe he has like one left. It's pretty much done. You know what I'm saying? Like even if he comes back for a little bit, it's like, okay, we see him buried or whatever, and maybe another episode later on for Rick's vision or something. But I mean, that's maybe near the end of the season. But I mean, that's pretty much it. It's crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Maybe it is for ratings. I don't know. You guys, write your comments. Let me know what you guys think it has to do with. Do you think they had too much trouble kind of working around his school schedule or something? Do you think that has something to do with it? Do you think that, because of the way fans were reacting, because a lot of people didn't like Carl, he wasn't the same as the comic version, they did that, maybe due to his age they decided to do it? What do you guys think is the reason for all this? Or do you really think it is just simply because, they wanted to change Rick for later on for his choice of whether or not to kill everybody? And do a Dale type of situation 2.0 with Carl this time. Andrew Ortiz says, I was almost brought to tears seeing Rick's face when he saw Carl bit. We see Rick doing everything for Carl since season 1, and Carl dies just like that. It's a really crazy one, man. It's one of the biggest deaths in the whole series, and just for it to be in a place like this is just so unexpected. I did not expect to see this at this time. It's really nuts. Brianna Salos says, people are mad. I'm just going to watch to see where it goes from now on. Who else is counting the days until Fear the Walking Dead Season 4? So it sounds like Brianna's pretty excited for Fear, and maybe not knowing how they feel about The Walking Dead right now. Not quite sure. But if nothing else, it at least it puts another big death in there. If The Walking Dead was declining, that kind of thing, it can at least get people engaged again. It can make people feel like the zombies are a threat, more of a threat than people are probably feeling. And then also that the show's very unpredictable. Like, we can't say that Rick is safe or anybody's really safe after this. Because they've done this, we really can't say anyone's safe at all. And Rick did tell Carl he wasn't safe, but you guys know what I'm saying. But I was like, no, he is safe. It's like, no, you're wrong, Trevor. He's not safe. They can kill off anybody anytime they want to. If they do this, and they did, then they could kill anybody anytime. So that's it's exciting though too, right? Because then you just really don't know. Even though it's in the comics this way and it's going that way, in the TV series, doesn't mean they got to go that way. So that's it's interesting, man. It puts it in balance in a different way. It puts it in a balance of where like you're not quite sure. You think, but then you don't know for sure. Yeah, it's just crazy stuff. Platinum Pop says, time for people to act like they were always a fan of Carl, so they have another reason to complain about the show. And that's true, man. The last couple of years, since season, I want to say 6 especially, because he had some spotlight parts in season 6 with the Anderson family massacre and all that. People complaining about him and, that kind of thing. A lot of people hated him. Well, Platinum's saying here too, Platinum Poop is saying that, it's a great name too, right? Now people are going to feel sorry for him. They're going to act like they did like him, even though, well, a lot of us did like him. I'm not saying that any of you guys did in particular, but there was a lot of people who hated him. So, they can't really go back the other way now. It's too late, right? So it's what it is. Last one will be from Pops Plays, who says, Trev, question, what if Carl's immune? I don't want to sound like some stupid-ass fan, but I just don't see how the hell they would kill Carl like that. It's too lackluster, and I guess I'm in denial, and I still love The Walking Dead. Just a thought. So Chandler Riggs has confirmed it, that he's dead, man. He's dead. Like, this isn't a dumpster situation. This is it, man. This is it. And then Willie Whitson reaction says, he got bitten last episode. He said it happened saving Sadiq. So, yeah, it's just crazy, man. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I'm still gathering my thoughts on this. I'm still thinking, is it a mistake? Is it good for the show? Is it bad? Is it, terribly bad? Is it, where are you guys at with this one? Do you think it's a mistake? Do you think it's good for the show? Do you think it's a good decision? And do you think that they did the right thing by doing that? Or do you think that definitely they should have had Carl alive and just done some other stuff in the finale instead and had maybe spotlight the battle between Rick and Negan a little bit more and then figured something out with that? Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. If you liked it, please don't forget to thumb it up below. You can share a favorite. Check out those other videos. You got to see them, guys, if you haven't seen them yet. And predictions for the other half as well, too, is in the channel, too. So that's it for this one. See you guys again soon. As always, it's Trev. I'll see you back tomorrow, guys. Send me more questions. Saying peace. See ya. Just subscribe somehow.